This week's Hooligan of the Week is a Little Caesars $5 hot and ready. Keyword is the $5 hot and ready there. The cheese and pepperoni, the original hot and ready pizza. There's no bacon. There's no thick crust. There's no stuffed crust. There's no crazy bread on the side. There's none of that. Little Caesars $5 hot and ready pizza versus a Big Mac.
Mm-hmm.
And this is an interesting fight. This is actually, I didn't think about this until now, but we're probably not the first people to do this fight necessarily. The first people to do this fight were like Pepto-Bismol commercials, where they had like a greasy burger and a greasy piece of pizza sitting there like in somebody's stomach. I guess they were fighting together.
There's
at
like
the time.
two guys in costumes.
Yeah,
And one
like-
is like a big greasy.
Yeah, and one's a bottle of Pepto-Bismol.
Yeah, we could write commercials.
Yeah, easy.
Okay, let me start with this. You know what
Yeah.
I just heard?
What?
This is the craziest thing in the world to me. This is what I heard from a pretty reliable source, but I can't confirm it myself. The Little Caesars cheese, it's like these blocks of something that resembles cheese, but
Cheese.
it's not. And it's big circular. It's the diameter of their pizzas, and they just cut like slices of it and then put that on the pizza. And that's the Little Caesars cheese. Is like a plastic lid basically that they just tap onto the pizza.
Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
I don't care.
I don't really either.
Little Caesars has good fucking pizza. I mean, not good fucking pizza, but if you need it's no worse than a DiGiorno. In fact, it might. I would say, Spin Zone.
Like I said,
When you're eating it, when you get it, cold Little Caesars pizza can get a little nasty.
I'll tell you what. I think for the price and
The convenience.
the convenience, and if you are really high, then they've got a phenomenal pizza. Absolutely.
But
But
no, I don't know that I eat Little Caesars. I don't know. We used to eat.
I've never had Little Caesars sober. Now that
We
I think
used to
about it.
eat Little Caesars pizzas all the time because you could go in there and get 2 pizzas for $10, and that'll feed 4 like hungry guys.
Yeah.
And when we were in high school, like we didn't have money.
Yeah.
We'd be hanging out and we'd be like, fuck, we're starving. And somebody's mom would be like, I'll cook you some chicken and broccoli. And we'd be like, nah, let's go to Little Caesars and get 2 pizzas for $10.
I think that
And they have the dippy garlic too. butter
that
garlic.
Stuff, that stuff grosses
That
me
shit
out.
is. Yeah, it's horrible for you. But back on track. Here's the thing about Big Macs that I will have to really force myself to consider is that I don't like pickles. So I get my Big Mac without pickles. But in a fight scenario, the pickles play a very big role in a
Yeah,
Big
they
Mac.
come in handy.
So I'm going to have to keep that in mind when I eventually make my final decision. I would say that they're almost of similar ratio. I would say meat ratio, patty to pepperoni on a Little Caesar pizza is closer than it should be. Because, McDonald's
I think that's right. They're very thin.
And then
That's probably spot on.
And then bread ratio. I mean, there's definitely more crust, but 3 buns on the Big Mac. So there's pretty equal bread. Sauce to sauce. I mean, there's probably almost as much Big Mac sauce on a Big Mac as there is pizza sauce on a Little Caesars pizza. Because 1, they're not saucy, and 2, Big Macs ooze Big Mac sauce. And then the cheese to lettuce comparison, now that we know about that cheese, that makes a difference. But they're kind of 2 different things that are kind of the same beast at the same time. They're very similar. Like, if you're going to break them down from a physical standpoint and say these 2 things have to fight each other. But again, I already forgot the fucking pickles. But, what's there, 2 pickles?
You also
on a
have
Big
not
Mac?
mentioned the secret sauce.
No, I did.
Oh, you did?
So there's almost I said there's not that much sauce on a Little Caesars pizza. So the
Right.
sauce ratio on the Little Caesars pizza is probably almost equivalent to the sauce on a Big Mac because the Big Mac is loaded with sauce.
Right. I think that's still probably not that close, but I
know, but I mean we're saying, relatively speaking.
Right. One
if
to
a
one.
Big Mac was the size of a Little Caesars pizza, it would be not even close.
Yeah, I
So
understand.
for the because again, it's not about the size of the dog in the fight. It's about the size of the fight in the dog. And the Big Mac is going to bring that fight. Here's the thing about this fight. both of these foods do not have the stamina. They're both going to probably have to come out swinging, and if nobody connects early, they might just call it.
I think you're right. Here's going into that. I think that both of them will get winded super quickly. Here's the thing. To me, a Little Caesars pizza is not built to last. The longer a Little Caesar, it's almost like a Meeseeks from Rick and Morty, right? The longer a Little Caesars pizza is around, the worse
It's going to be.
Yeah, it kind
I would
of
agree with that.
falls apart. Big Mac, however, we've seen the videos of McDonald's like 5 years later or whatever, and like it's disgusting that it does still in fact look like a cheeseburger. But in just the two of them going at it, yes, I think they're both going to be winded pretty quickly. Another thing, the Little Caesars $5 hot and ready pizza. To me, that particular food item is kind of there's this sense I get that there's an emphasis on this pizza. All these, like, you can really mass produce them, and I'll whatever, but you can really mass produce them. There seems to be an emphasis on like each pizza is the same because there's an emphasis on getting like a lot of them, a lot of pizza for not a lot of money. Little Caesars pizza to me seems to be about, like I said, mass production and kind of assimilation, right? Like basically if you're making Little Caesars $5 hot and ready pizza, you want the same pizza every single time. And that's what comes across. The Big Mac, all that stuff might be true for it, but that's not the way that it's marketed. That's not the feeling you get from a Big Mac. The feeling you get from a Big Mac is that it's special, which is crazy because it's been around for so long. It's a staple of the fast food community. And it's meant to be, idealized and savored and stuff. The hot and ready pizza is sustenance. It's like, here you go, wolf it, boom.
The problem is, but it's a good point, is that the way that you just described the Little Caesars pizza is literally how McDonald's was invented.
Yes, that's true. But
so that's the premise behind the Big Mac. But I'll say this, is that I don't know if I necessarily agree with you that one has a higher standing than the other, but I do agree that they have a different feel, and
the Big Mac
that might
certainly
give
has
the
more
Big
status.
Mac. But I don't think they. I'm not talking popularity. I don't think they have a different status. I know what you're saying, and the way that they're marketed may be seen like that. So you might see the Big Mac come into this fight as the favorite for that reason, because people are like, oh, it's the Big Mac. It has a special sauce. It's got something going on. But in reality, that's Fugazi. That's
a little Fugazi.
Yeah. That's pixie dust. I think that they are on the same standing. I don't know the price of a Big Mac.
$1.50?
Way more.
Really? For a Big Mac?
I bet you a quote.
$2.29?
I'm gonna look it up.
Okay.
Because I bet you it costs. No, it's more than that. I bet you it's like $4. It's almost as much as a pizza.
I will say, to your point about the pickles and the sauce, though, I think the Big Mac has more in its arsenal.
Yeah, because $3.99, $4 for a Big Mac.
$4 for a Big Mac?
Yeah.
What does this country come to?
Big Mac meal, $5.99. So that's Big Mac fries drink.
For $6? It should be.
You used to be able to get, back in my day, you could get dinner box, 2 Big Macs, 2 cheeseburgers, 10 nuggets, 4 fries for $9.99. You could add 4 drinks, $11.99.
Wow.
And then the price of the dinner box went to $10.99, drinks $14.99. Now they don't even sell them, which is also bullshit, because you should at least still sell them.
They must have, even for McDonald's to discontinue an item that they're probably losing money on, that really says something.
There was summers in my life where I would not be here today if it weren't for dinner boxes. We would go fish. It's actually about the same time I was eating a lot of Little Caesars. We would go fishing. We'd ride our bikes. We couldn't drive yet. And, we'd go in the morning and we'd fish until we were hungry. And then right by our fishing spot, there was a McDonald's. We'd ride our bikes there. It didn't matter how many of us there was. It could be 2, 4. We would pull up. I'm talking change sometimes.
See, I like that. See, this is something that I think will never go away no matter what. Even though I don't think this is what you guys did, you get this. You know that scene in The Sandlot where they're like collecting glass bottles so they can buy a new baseball?
No, that's kind of what that. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Like we would fight. I'll tell you what. We would fight to get that $9.99, and there was times where we were so thirsty and we couldn't get the extra couple bucks to get the drink, but they had $1 extra large sweet teas, unlimited refills, and we would buy one for all of us. And it was disgusting. I don't really like sweet tea. I wasn't born in the South. I don't drink sweet tea on a regular basis. Like sweetened iced tea. Yeah, that's not what sweet tea is. Mm-mm. So you got this fucking bucket of warm sweet tea pretty much, and we're all just sucking the shit out of it just to not die. But I don't remember how we ended up on that. But, I mean, and it's the same thing with Little Caesars, though. Like, that's what we would do. That's why I put them on the same standing. They're viable food options that are horrible for your body, but you can get for cheap, and they will fill you up. At the end of the day, and this is going to get a little cheeky, but I'm going to take the Little Caesars pizza. And honestly, partially because of size, partially because of that cheese thing you just let us know. Because think about a Little... You probably don't know this because, like you said, you're not very familiar with Little Caesars pizza. But it makes sense that that's how they do it because the cheese of a Little Caesars pizza is so conformed to that pizza, and it's the perfect layer of cheese across the whole thing. And if you don't cut properly a slice of... If it's not properly cut, you will ruin the entire pizza because the cheese will just come. And I think that if I was that pizza... I would chuck that layer of cheese directly over the Big Mac. Now, the Big Mac's defense strategy to that would be, if I was the Big Mac, use of a combination of the pickle juice and the Big Mac sauce to create an acidic something to cut through the cheese.
Yeah.
But I think that it's like when somebody throws a blanket over you. Like, you can get it off. But if they're doing it, that means they're prepared. They're going to be able to jump on you quicker than you're going to be able to throw that blanket off. So I think that the Little Caesars pizza throws the cheese, but it doesn't want to waste the pepperoni. So I haven't figured that out yet. But I think it used the cheese, and then it uses its size to get right up on the Big Mac while the cheese is kind of holding it down. And I don't think that the Big Mac would have the... Because at that point, I'm saying so little energy that probably burns everything that the pizza's got.
Yeah.
But at that point, the pizza's just dead weight on the Big Mac. It doesn't have to move. And I don't think that the Big Mac could drum up the energy after using its sauce and stuff to make that acidic whatever to get the pizza off of it and maybe go on the offense.
That's an interesting strategy choice for the pizza. I just have this feeling that the Big Mac would be able to outlast the pizza. And with the cheese thing, I feel like a Big Mac is springy enough that it could kind of like jump, separate itself, and the cheese would like fly right past it.
That's why I brought up the whole blanket thing. Because, you know, if somebody chucks a blanket on you and pounces right after, like I'm not saying that the Big Mac couldn't get that cheese off it, but the cheese is going to land on the Big Mac. The Big Mac's not going to jump out of the way of the cheese.
Yeah, you're turning me around a little bit just because thinking about this now.
And not to put you in a blender, but we do have to, if we're going to tell the story, we're going to have to pick a winner. So I'm going to lock in my Little Caesars $5 hot and ready original pizza. I do think that I have a missed opportunity with how I didn't use the pepperoni in my defense, but for right now, I like where I'm at. and I think that that's the winner.
It's so tough. I just have this. See, okay. Game time decision. I'm picking the pizza, and here's why. The Big Mac is all about structure to me, and like I said, it seems to be a very, my feeling towards it is that it's a symbol of fast food. Big Macs seem like militaristic soldiers to me, whereas the Little Caesars pizza is able to improvise. That's something that I talk about a lot when we do these fights,
Yeah, I like
and
that.
a lot of times that's a winning factor. And here, I think that would somehow be the case. The Big Mac, I think, has got a lot of power and not necessarily a lot of stamina, but it's a solid item.
And I will say, so we're locking in the Big Mac.
Locking in the pizza.
We're locking in the Little Caesars pizza. That'll be out on Instagram on Friday. Vote on that. Check out the Clubhouse.
Yeah,
Andrew
right.
Canada, 4 p.m. on Fridays. We'll be there too. We'll be discussing it.